So Dan, this comes on top of the 250 billion that we know, the more than 50 billion given to the chip sector or marked for the chip sector alone. So these are all the building blocks of the overall strategy to counter the rise of Beijing.
Yeah, that's right. Basically lawmakers in D.C. have been worried that the U.S. is falling behind on chip production, that they're reliant on other places to produce these chips. Of course, the U.S. has a lot of the underlying technology for this, but they want to ensure that they dominate this space in the years ahead, and they're trying to block China from gaining access to these advanced computer chips that will be used in AI and electric vehicles and other industries that'll really drive growth going into the next few decades here.
How does this practically impact the U.S.-China relationship?
Well, the U.S. has been blocking China since the Trump days from getting certain technologies. It started with Huawei and ZTE briefly, and now has been kind of formalized and codified by the Biden administration, which has kept in a lot of these policies. So, it's basically two-pronged, that the U.S. is going to invest in itself and really develop its own capabilities to produce these things. At the same time, trying to deny China the technology it needs to do this kind of work itself. Now, China's response has been basically to do almost the same thing, is try and create, there's a big self-sufficiency push from Xi Jinping to invest in these types of technology. So you kind of have a race developing to see who can produce it. But the bottom line is neither country trusts the other one enough to rely on each other.
And Beijing has been so adamant that any progress in the relationship would have to depend on lifting those tariffs in place from the Trump administration, right? Have we seen any progress on the trade side?
We have seen flickers of hope, I guess, is maybe the way to put it. There have been conversations between Liu He and the U.S. trade officials in the Biden administration, Yellen, and the new USTR rep. So they are starting the initial discussions there, but we're very far away from a substantive agreement that would lead to the lifting of tariffs. Politically, that's very difficult to happen in D.C. right now. And in Beijing, it's very difficult to relent on anything as well. So the politics are still not conducive to some sort of agreement that would see those things lifted. But you do see at least some conversations happening that could be building blocks to something happening in the future.